Some of you know I'm Jewish. My father came to this country at the age of 17 from Poland. He came over. Other people in his family did not come over. Those people died. Children died. Relatives of my father. All right. So that is in my heart to see what a lunatic can do by stirring up racial hatred. And we're not going to allow that to take place in this country.
Senator Bernie Sanders in Milwaukee last night. He joins us live this morning. Senator Sanders, thanks for joining us this morning. We've talked to you many times about Donald Trump. You've called him a liar. You've called him a nutcase. Now comparing him to Hitler?
Oh, no. No, there's nothing to do. No, that's not right. What I talked about, there was a Muslim woman there next to me, and she is telling me that what is true is that people in the Muslim community are very fearful now. She was describing a kid who now locks the door at night. And what I was saying is, I am going to do everything that I can to kind of stop those Islamophobic attacks so the kids in this country who happen to be Muslim are afraid. No, I did not compare Trump to Hitler. But I will do everything that I can to stop this type of hatred and hate talk that we are hearing.
You have been on a roll so far. Some of the latest polls show you up in Wisconsin. You've won 6 out of the last 7 contests as well. Hillary Clinton was speaking last night in Wisconsin as well, and she pushed the line that you're not a true blue Democrat. Let's listen.
I'm also a Democrat and have been a proud Democrat all my adult life. And I think that's kind of important if we're selecting somebody to be the Democratic nominee of the Democratic Party.
Your response?
Well, my response is I think the secretary is getting very nervous. That poll after poll shows us doing much better against Trump than she is. Last CNN poll had us up by 20 points. Here in Wisconsin, I was 19 points ahead of Trump, also a significant margin better than she is. So what we are saying is I believe I am the strongest candidate to take on the Republicans. And the fact that I have been the longest serving independent in the history of the United States makes my candidacy even stronger. You got a lot of independents out there. So I think we can get virtually all of the Democratic vote. I think we can get a lot of the independent vote. I think we got a lot of young people's vote, working class people's vote. I think we're on the way to victory if we can win the Democratic nomination.
You've also been engaged with the Clinton camp in a debate over debates. Secretary Clinton said this morning she's confident there's going to be another debate ahead of the New York primary. Are you confident?
Yeah, I am. Look, she has proposed 3 dates. We have proposed 4 dates. She has a difficult schedule. I've got a difficult schedule. You know, one of the debates proposed was the night of the NCAA finals. Didn't make sense to me, but I think that we will reach an agreement. People of New York deserve to hear us discussing the important issues facing that state and facing the country. I suspect it will work out.
I hope it will. And one of the debates proposed and one of the debates that Secretary Clinton accepted was actually on Good Morning America on either the 14th or the 15th. And earlier in the week, your campaign signaled that they were going to accept that. And then once she accepted it, you're now saying it's no longer okay. Why is that?
Well, I think what we want is to look at the maximum viewing audience. And any time and any venue that works, that has that viewing audience will be good. So we're looking at a lot of options right now. But I think at the end of the day, George, we will have a time and a place. There will be, I suspect, a very spirited debate about why the middle class continues to decline, why we have so much wealth and income inequality in this country, and whether or not we are being as effective as we should be in addressing the crisis of climate change, which we must deal with.
So you're not ruling out that debate right now?
No, we're looking at a number of options. The goal for me, and I would hope for the secretary, would be that option which gives us the largest viewing audience.
You know, Secretary Clinton also said this morning that she doesn't believe that there are any constitutional rights for the unborn. Is that your position as well?
All I know is that I will fight as strong as I can to defend a woman's right to choose. I believe that it is an outrage that Republicans who who tell us how much they hate the government now want to tell every American woman what she can and cannot do with her body. And I do agree with the Secretary. I don't believe there's any constitutional protection for the unborn.
So are you for any restrictions on abortion?
I think that decision ultimately has got to be made by the woman. I have 100% pro-choice voting record throughout my career. That decision must be made by the woman, must be made by her family and her physician, not by the federal government, not by the state government. And let me tell you something. If elected president, I will not only fight to protect Roe versus Wade and a woman's right to choose, I will take on the Scott Walkers of the world and the other right-wing governors who are trying to restrict and limit that right.
You mentioned Roe v. Wade. You said that where a potential Supreme Court nominee stands on the campaign finance case, Citizens United would be a litmus test for your choice for the Supreme Court. Is Roe v. Wade a litmus test as well?
Of course, it's very important to me. I mean, all that I have said is right now we have a corrupt campaign finance system as a result of Citizens United, where billionaires are now trying to buy elections, and democracy is being undermined. And I fear very much about the future of this country if we do not overturn Citizens United and restore one person, one vote democracy in America. But obviously, as somebody who has fought his whole political life to protect the woman's right to choose, that issue is of enormous concern to me. And people can be assured I will not be nominating a justice who will not support that position.
Finally, you have been on a roll, as you mentioned, but you're still far behind Secretary Clinton in both pledged delegates and especially those superdelegates. I know you said you believe that many of those superdelegates will switch if you continue to win states. Have any of them told you that?
Well, what we have begun to see already is when we are winning states by large margins, and as you've indicated, we've won the last 6 out of 7 caucuses and primaries. It is very hard for superdelegates in a state, say like Alaska, I think, where we won 82% of the vote, not to go with the will of the people in that state. In addition to that, as I think we demonstrate that we are our campaign is a stronger campaign against people like Donald Trump. Last CNN poll, we were 20 points ahead of him. Here in Wisconsin, the last poll they had out, just in this state, we were 19 points ahead of Trump. I think as many superdelegates look out there, what they are saying, yeah, well, I like Hillary, I like Bernie, but most importantly, we've got to beat Donald Trump, and I think they will see that Bernie Sanders is the strongest candidate to do that.
Senator Sanders, thanks for joining us again this morning.
Thank you, Judge.